I'm Dana K. White. I am the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life. I'm the creator of the No Mess Decluttering process. Today, let's talk about backfires. Watching for strategies that backfire for you consistently. Okay, so I teach the No Mess Decluttering process, which I developed because of what I found consistently backfired for me. So for me to pull everything out of a space backfires every time. I end up getting distracted or overwhelmed, and then everything is spread out where it used to be inside of something, right? Like, so it makes my house messier in the meantime and sometimes forever, right? Putting things in a keep box backfires because it is way too tempting for me to just shove that keep box somewhere and forget about it. And then those things are just clutter in my home because they don't have a real home, right? Other things that backfire for me are making piles, right? Like anytime that I make all these neat little piles to then go put things away later or put things away at the end of the decluttering project, it just never goes well. It always ends up backfiring, which is why I have to follow my take it there now rule, which is the core of the No Mess Decluttering process, right? But for you, you need to do whatever works for you, right? Like I have found what works for me. It happens to work for many, many of you as well. But everybody needs to find what works for them, right? I can guarantee my process will work if you'll follow it. But I also know, because a lot of you are like me, I am the type who's like, I'm very skeptical of things before I try it, right? So the thing that I had to watch out for and I had to acknowledge and admit was the problem were the points at which things backfired for me, right? Like what I thought I was doing was the right thing, and then it never ended up going well. So decluttering is something either going to a permanent, real space in my home where it has room to live and it can be functional there and I know where it is and all that, right? Like, so either goes to a home or it leaves my house. That's decluttering. So along the decluttering process, it's important to watch for what causes this item to stay clutter. At what point in this process that I'm trying, does it backfire? Does it make me shut down and stop decluttering, stop getting things out of the house? Or where in this process are things just going to be clutter in a different place, stuff shifting, right? So a couple of things that I have learned are backfires for me might help you understand either those things might be backfires for you as well, or maybe help you know what to look for to identify for yourself what is a backfire as you are finding a process that works well for you for decluttering. Again, the no mess process works for everybody if you'll try it, but I get it, right? Like you want to find the way for you. So backfires, like I said, the pull everything out, always a backfire for me, right? I am distractible. And so every time I would try to pull everything out of a space, I would get distracted or life would happen, or I would just shut down because I was overwhelmed or I was tired. I would step away. And then I had started decluttering, pulled everything out, thought I was doing the right thing back then for me. And it backfired because my house actually was worse off, because then I ended up with stuff spread out everywhere, which caused me to shut down, but also which made it harder to live in our house, right? Like that was the reason my family was resisting my decluttering efforts. That's going to be its own video at some point. But it's because every time I was like, I'm going to declutter, my house got worse before it got better. I would get overwhelmed because it was worse, and then it would stay worse for way too long, right? So that was a backfire. That was something that was a key for me to know this does not work for me, because it is making things worse. It is stopping me from decluttering because I get overwhelmed and I don't know what to do because everything is spread everywhere, right? Other things that I have found and have had to decide not to do. One of those is selling things. This is so hard, right? And this is the reason why we're talking about this today. Because I know from my own experience, because I was an eBay seller and I knew how to do it. And there was a time where I was consistently selling things. And because of that, I didn't want to listen to somebody who said, just don't sell, right? Like selling is a bad idea. And I was like, you don't know me. You don't know that we need this money. You don't know that this is what I actually do. And okay, so I wouldn't listen to that. So I'm not expecting you to listen to that, but do watch for where it backfires, right? For me, the backfire came in that I was bringing things into my home at a significantly faster rate than I was getting things out of my home, right? And part of that was learning. I was learning what sold, what didn't, but I was not good at getting things out once I realized that they probably weren't going to sell. Part of that was because I didn't want to admit that they weren't going to sell. And I thought, well, if I just change this or if I just do this, I would keep trying and keep trying. The other part of it was I loved the bringing in. I loved the bargain hunting. And so I was constantly looking for bargains and gathering them thinking, oh, well, they might sell. It might be worth it. And in reality, it ended up backfiring because I was bringing things in so much faster than I was selling them, right? For you, I get it when the idea of selling, like having a garage sale, selling it online or whatever, makes you think, I've really got to do that because this item is valuable, because we need the money, whatever. But watch for the backfire, okay? If you have been putting things in a garage sale pile that turned into a garage sale closet, that turned into a garage sale section of the garage, that turned into the entire storage space that you have, and now you don't have a place for your lawnmower or your car or whatever. If you have been meaning to have a garage sale for so long that you've really just been stuff shifting into this space that has then grown and made it hard for you to live in your home, and the garage sale hasn't happened, it's time to ask, has this idea backfired, right? Like, because the problem is, yes, it's great if you actually have the garage sale and you actually get the stuff out of your house and you actually donate whatever doesn't sell and things leave the house. But it's often the idea of doing this ideal thing of having a garage sale that is what backfires, because the actual action of it never ends up happening, right? So there are two different ways to deal with this backfire. The first way is to put a garage sale on the calendar and text your family members or people who live in your house and say, I'm putting this garage sale on the calendar. I'm going ahead and putting it in the paper or scheduling it on Facebook or going and applying for the, if your city has a permit that you have to have, some cities have that. Like, go ahead and do the thing to have that garage sale, get it on the calendar so that then it's done and things get out, and then donate whatever doesn't sell. But if you can't do that, if that is exhausting or daunting or overwhelming to you or makes you go, but then I would have to do all the whatever. If that is the problem, right? Like if you try to do the thing, that's the signal that this is backfiring. That the idea of, I'll do that in the future, but the reality of the future is never going to get here because it's too overwhelming to actually bring this idea for the future into the present. That's a backfire, okay? And those are the moments for me personally where I realized this is backfiring. Saving for garage sales is backfiring. Selling it online is backfiring. Therefore, I'm going to donate. I am going to throw away anything that needs to be thrown away and donate anything that's donatable. Because Every other way was causing stuff to sit in my house. And it staying sitting in my house was the backfire. Okay, because decluttering is either going to a real home or going out of my house. And a garage sale area that grows and grows and grows is not a real home. Okay, not that you can't have an area where you put things that you're going to put in a garage sale someday, but that has to be a defined area and it can't take up any of the space that I need for my real actual life, right? Otherwise it's backfiring. Other things, a big backfire for me was the idea of wanting to get things to the perfect places, to the perfect people. Thinking of the person who would appreciate the item the most. This was very hard for me. It was fun in the moment of thinking up people and making all these piles and even putting them in little bags, but the backfire happened when I never actually got those things to the people. I cannot tell you, when my kids were little, how many times I bagged up some clothes for somebody who would absolutely love to have, 2T boys' clothes. And then those things sat in my garage or my guest room or my trunk until the kid I was thinking of was in 4T clothes, right? Like, that's a backfire. I had to realize that doing that took up so much of my time and energy and never actually resulted in things leaving my house, right? And because it did not result in things leaving my house, I had to acknowledge that it was a backfire, right? This is backfiring. Therefore, I cannot do it this way anymore. That doesn't work. Having garage sales for me does not work. Getting things to the very perfect people who will appreciate it the most, it doesn't work. Selling things, all that, making piles, pulling everything out, it doesn't work because it puts me at a point where I end up overwhelmed and never actually getting that out of my house. Here's one as well. So we have the all-day declutter coming up on October 4th for the Take Your House Back course. We've been doing the Take Your House Back course for 5 years now. I think it first came out like the beginning of 2021. And thousands of people have gone through the course. People love it, have made huge progress in their house, right? We have these all-day declutters, and there are people who have made huge progress because the energy of those days where we are decluttering live, Dawn from Minimal Mom, Cass from Clutterbug, and I take turns coaching you through an hour of decluttering in your home, and you make huge progress, right? And so many people make huge progress on those days. And yet there are other people for whom those days backfire, right? Like, there are people, and I'm going to say I am one of these people, who pressure of go, get rid of as much as you can in as short a period of time as you can, that actually backfires for me, right? But that's the beauty of the Take Your House Back course, is that the actual course itself, the going through your home, changing your mindset, getting your house under control, is a self-paced course that you can do at any time. And then you can watch an all-day declutter video, because they're all recorded and then put into the course, at your own pace whenever you feel like it, right? But I think it's really important to understand that for some people, the self-paced completely backfires because they start on it and then never think about it again. And they really need the high energy, everybody's decluttering at once all across the world day of the all-day declutter to make huge progress. But then there are others who, like me, let's go, rah, like that backfires for me. And I need the slow and steady pace of the course, right? So I love that we provide both of those things. And I think that they both have value and they're incredibly powerful when you put them together. But I think it's really important that you understand what backfires for you, what works for you. It's so important also to know that just because one of those things backfires that doesn't mean that you don't have hope, right? That doesn't mean that you can't do this. If you don't do well with the pressure of, hey, let's get everything we can get done in an hour, that doesn't mean that you can't declutter. You can go slow and steady using the no mess process. Listen to Decluttering at the Speed of Life, my book, on audio. I hear from people who've listened to it like hundreds of times. They just listen to it every time they declutter, right? Or watch the videos in the course as you do that at your own pace. There is hope for you just because one strategy or one, the person who says, sell your stuff on eBay, it's so easy. And then you're like, okay, so then I saved all this stuff to sell on eBay and it doesn't feel easy to me, right? And so watch for those backfires in order to pivot and go the direction, do things in the way that does work for you. Because I promise it's possible to make huge progress. The No Mess Decluttering process, you can get a copy of the 5 steps at aslobcomesclean.com/5, F-I-V-E. You can get a copy there and follow those 5 steps and make progress in any amount of time that you have available. And if you're interested, if you want to try the excitement of the all-day declutter and you haven't joined the course yet, go to aslobcomesclean.com/take. Join us for the all-day declutter on October 4th. They are very, very fun. Okay. They are really, really fun. People love them. But also go through the course itself, go through module by module and really change your mindset and your home. Okay. I hope that was helpful. I just want you to know there really is hope for you, whatever your personality. There is no backfire that there's not a solution to. Right? There's no backfire that means you're hopeless. It just means that's not the thing that you need to be doing. So watch for the backfire so you know what to do. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.